All right, everyone, welcome back into another live edition of the Patriots Beat podcast here on the CLNS Media Network, presented by our wonderful friends over at Prize Picks. It is Brian Hines back as always with Alex Barth, and it is officially mock draft season, mock draft 1.0 on the PFF simulator. We'll get started in it in a second. This is one of the best times of the year, I think, especially for the show and doing these mock drafts. I went back and looked at it ours last year, and it was 4 prospects we hit on. Obviously, Drake May, we did a lot of talk about in our mocks. And then we also got Jalen Polk, Joe Milton, obviously, and then Jaheim Bell. So we hit on 4 of the guys last year. And the Jalen Polk pick, Barth, was a chat selection. So we can yell at the chat. They can't yell at us for the Jalen Polk pick last year. So
are we taking away final say from the chat then?
We might.
Chat wants to take away final say from Elliott Wolf.
We need to bring in our Ryan Cowden this year and maybe take away final say from the chat on some of these 50-50s.
I missed it. If you did you say who the other option was?
I don't remember who the other option was.
Okay.
I went back and looked, and we had it. It might have been I think it was a wheel pick, because it was literally.
Oh, that must have been what it was. Okay.
And so they picked Jalen Polk in that. But as always, it's a good.
That's Ryan Cowden.
Yeah, seriously. It's a good opportunity to work through a lot of different prospects, talk about a lot of different prospects and scenarios that might unfold when the Patriots are on the clock or trying to move up, trying to move down, different trade stuffs, and we go through it all. It is also important to note it is February 13th. We are a month away from free agency. A lot is going to change between now and the actual draft, and this is the one kind of mock draft we'll do before free agency, but we all want to get a mock draft in. They're fun to do, so it's a good time to do so. So anything else from you before we kick this one off?
I guess I would just say, are there any, before we get into the draft, hang on, where's my notepad here? Well, that doesn't help because nobody else can see it, but what assumptions are we making about free agency? We're not going to assume they sign no players and draft for the roster that exists now. So I think let's lay out some ground rules that we're working off of, some assumptions that we're working off of going into this draft. So I guess I'll throw this out to you, Brian. Starting left tackle addressed. And when I say free, I'll say veteran market, free agency trade, right? Starting left tackle addressed, yes or no, realistically with the options on the table.
I'll go. I think they might have someone we're a little more comfortable with, but assuming long term, set at this position.
A bridge guy doesn't count.
Okay, yeah. So
a Jacoby Brissett equivalent, I'm counting as no.
Okay, yeah. So I'll probably go no for now.
Okay, we're gonna say no on left tackle. Edge. Has that been addressed? One player, multiple players?
I'll say they get an edge guy in free agency.
All right, outside linebacker, defensive end.
Yeah.
Do we want to say Josh Sweat?
Sure, we can put Josh Sweat in that mold.
Okay. Any others?
Receiver?
Well, I was going to say any other edge guys.
Oh. No.
Okay, so no. So just Josh Sweat. Okay. Receiver.
I don't want to just hand them T. Higgins, because that feels like a lot just handing them to them. But do you think they'll sign maybe a depth guy or a kind of a floor raiser, or maybe not, and they may have to make a trade?
So we're going to say this. Going into this draft, they do not have a coverage dictating wide receiver.
Okay, that's fair.
Give me a name for one of the receivers you think. So as we try to set the depth chart up when we draft guys.
I mean, Darius Slayton's kind of the popular one. Do you want to just put him?
Do you want to give me a name for the tackle too? Just so we can, when we tweet this all out at the end?
Would Patrick McCarry be fair? Kind of like that versatile.
Is he an interior?
He's played tackle before. He's someone who you could move out of tackle if you have to. Who I think he'd be a great target just because of all that versatility. But you're not signing him and being like, we have left tackle set. If he has to play there in a pinch, you're probably fine with it. But that's not your home run answer for left tackle there.
Corner.
Let me pull up the free agency list.
I'm going to say yes on corner. I'm going to fill this one in.
You like Carlton Davis,
I
right?
really like Carlton Davis for them. Yep.
Okay, that's good. I'm with that.
Safety.
No, I don't think. I mean, Javon Holland's the big one.
I like Cam Bynum, but let's leave that one as a no because I think it makes the draft more interesting.
Okay.
Any other positions I'm missing? Any other free agents you want to pencil in for them before we get into this draft?
Receivers, running backs, not really running back.
Defensive line might be a good one.
I think they're gonna sign maybe the Levy. I don't know how to say his last name. The Lions defensive lineman who worked with Terrell Williams. Do you know who I'm talking about? Levy Onwazurike or whatever.
Yeah, so there's him, and I like Deo. Is it Odiyingbo from the Colts?
I think so. Too many confusing last names in that group.
I know. All right, so we'll throw in. Where'd he go? We'll throw in Levy.
Anything at linebacker?
I could see that it's a good linebacker draft. I could see them just addressing that in the draft.
All right.
Anybody else we want to add?
I think that's.
Did they get back? Did they get another quarterback? And that would be after the draft anyway. That's a camp arm. I think we just no guards. Well, you talked about Makari. Kind of gives you some depth there.
Gives you versatility all over the place. Yeah, you got an edge and Sweat.
Internal free agents, who's back? Austin Hooper, yes or no? That's kind of a big one.
Yes.
All right, so Hooper's back. I'm going to ask you this. Is Joey Sly back?
So I was just going to say, Zach asked kicker. I'm going to say no for Joey Sly right now.
Okay. Do you think that they sign a free agent, or do you think PFF has no kickers in their top 100? I don't even know who the free agent kickers are.
I think it's Nick Folk is the best one, actually, who Vrabel traded for. But
I could see Nick Folk coming back.
Okay.
But
we'll probably talk about it in the draft. I'm not really for drafting a kicker, but maybe like a UDFA kicker or someone in free agency. But
there's really only one kicker I like for them, and he's not. You can get him as UDFA. Top kickers are Folk, Matt Prater, Joey Sly, Eddie Pinheiro, Michael Badgley, Brandon McManus, Riley Patterson.
Okay.
So we're going to leave kicker unfilled. Or are we signing Nick Folk?
Let's leave it unfilled.
All right, we're going to leave it unfilled. Who are the other? Dietrich Wise,
Jonathan Jones.
Those would be the other two big ones.
Jonathan Jones sounds like he wants to come back. Like, just keeping him back as a nickel versatile.
Do you think they bring him back, though?
I could.
I mean, he was one of the guys that didn't get an extension.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Okay, so we'll see. John Jones is back.
Back in a different role if he wants to do that. Sounds like he wants. It sounds like he wants to come back, but we'll see money and everything. But
the other guys, Brissett's going to be gone. Hasty's kind of irrelevant to this. Quality's kind of irrelevant to this. Zemina's kind of irrelevant to this. Jalen Hawkins, even if he comes back, they need a safety. We'll say Christian Ellis is back, and we'll assume all the ERFA guys are back. So, okay. As we start this draft, really thrilling first 10 minutes of this podcast. Here's what we're setting up. The free agent signings are Pat McCarry, Josh Sweat, Darius Slayton, Carlton Davis, and Levi Onwuzurike. Austin Hooper, John Jones, Christian Ellis are back. Are we trading up, Brian?
No.
All right, so then let's see who is on the board at 4. And we went 2 quarterbacks and Abdul Carter. So this is a fascinating one. Because if it was Carter, let's say Hunter went 3rd, right? We're taking Carter. I think that's a no-brainer.
Yep.
I don't think there's a doubt. But the theme of this offseason is trenches, trenches, trenches. Travis Hunter doesn't play in the trenches. And we don't necessarily know where they're going to play him. So Mason Graham is a trenches player. Will Campbell is a trenches player. Do we move back? What are you thinking here if this is the way it falls? And I don't think it's going to fall this way, by the way. I think Hunter and Carter are both going to be off the board. But this is just what we got for this mock year.
So I get the trenches. I love the trenches. Travis Hunter is probably my second. I think he's the second best player in this class behind Abdul Carter. And if you want to flip-flop those, I'm fine with that. Like I'm still best player available. So I would probably lean Travis Hunter here. Now, I want him to come and play wide receiver, which he's going to the combine as a corner. I think he's going to be an amazing cornerback, but for this team and positional value, I think he's a little bit better at wide receiver. So that plan will be interesting. I don't know if he could go to the combine as both, so it makes sense he might just pick defensive back. I'm sure in those media interviews we'll get a little bit more information, and we'll hear what he really wants to do. I assume he still wants to play a little bit of both ways, but if they're picking Travis Hunter, I think for this team right now, he needs to play a good portion of wide receiver. So I think he's the best player available. I would probably pick him, but I want him at wide receiver a bit.
I would say don't read in too much to him going to the combine
Yeah.
as a corner, because if he's going to work at both, it's kind of what he had to do, because defensive backs are before wide receivers in the order of the workouts. So going as a defensive back, he's going to do his media stuff in his team meetings on Wednesday. He's going to have his workout Thursday, and then he can do the wide receiver workout Friday. If he were to go as a receiver, he would have to do the media and the weigh-ins and all of that the same day as the defensive back workout, and then go work out the next day. So just logistically, to get through the week, it's easier for him to go as a defensive back because of the schedule. It has nothing to do with the position, assuming he's going to work in both spots. So you think Hunter's the pick here as a wide receiver? I'm not saying that so if we're picking here, we're picking. Do you consider trading down, or is Hunter the kind of prospect that if he's on the board, you're running the card up?
How far down we going, and what are the offers?
So the highest offer we have is the Bears at 10. So in this case, we're probably getting a future first round pick. If we're moving all the way down to 10, we're going to miss out on a lot of players. And look, there's 2 quarterbacks gone, but let's just say for the sake of argument, right? There's still a quarterback there. The Raiders are the logical team you call. So there's not a great trade to comp to this from recent years. The closest one I can find is the 2018 deal where the Jets moved up to take Sam Darnold with the Colts. The Colt, that was 3-5 instead of 4-6. And then the Colts got 2 seconds that year. The Jets had 2 second-round picks, and they got a future second. Obviously, the Raiders do not have 2 second-round picks, but this is a lesser quarterback class. So I think this would probably be the deal you're looking at. You're going to move down to 6, you're going to get 37, and you're going to get a next year second. Now, the unique thing here, you have 37, 38 back-to-back, and you have 2 seconds and 2/3. So there's a ton of room to maneuver after this trade. We can easily get back up into the first round. We can get up decently high into the first round, but we're not going to get Travis Hunter. So like this trade really interests me because they need more than just one good player. But yep, I understand the hesitancy if it's just picking Travis Hunter.
So where are you at with Hunter?
I would need to see, like, I'm with you. He needs to play receiver if he comes here. Is he open to that? Is he open to just playing receiver?
Do we think?
And I don't know.
If that's the pick right now. If we think he's open to playing receiver, I think it's kind of run up the card or whatever the hell they do now.
Dion keeps saying that he's going to try to play both ways. This team has too much going on to handle the development of a two-way player right now. I don't think if he tries to play 2 ways here, I don't think it's going to work.
Okay.
He'll still be fine, but he's not going to justify that pick.
All right. So you seem like you're in the trade down camp here.
Yeah.
All right.
But you would take Hunter?
I mean, I do like that package, getting 2 additional second-round picks. Hunter is tough to say no to for me, but I don't know. Do we need to go to the chat already?
We can go with Hunter.
You want to go with Hunter?
But we both agree we're taking him as a receiver.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so not only did we assume a whole offseason going in, we're also
we assume the number 1 pick, what position he's playing.
Right. Let me ask you real quick. If we'll make another assumption here. If Will Campbell's arms are long enough, let's say he comes in at 33 1/4. Does that change your mind at all?
About moving down or taking Will Campbell over Travis Hunter?
Either way, about anything.
Yeah, I think if Will Campbell's over the 33, and even maybe if he's like 32 and 7/8, that would make me feel. If you could move down to 6 and like get those 2 second-round picks and then Will Campbell, and he's going to play tackle, which that's the report, is that he's training at tackle, and I think he deserves a shot to start at tackle. That would be pretty enticing too right now. But without that information, it is tough to pass.
Well,
on
either way, we're making an assumption. I guess let's do this.
Yeah.
What do you think is more likely? Travis Hunter is okay, just playing receiver, and he can play a little bit of corner here and there, but it's going to be like a Marcus Jones kind of thing the other way, right? What's more likely? Travis Hunter's okay, just playing wide receiver, or Will Campbell's arms come in at 33 inches?
I think he's going to be under. So I guess just process of elimination, Travis Hunter at that point.
All right, so we're taking Hunter.
Yeah, let's do it. He's the most talented player on the board, best player available.
Okay. I know. I don't think he's going to be there for the Patriots, but we'll make
I would be surprised if both quarterbacks go in the top 3 there.
Yeah, but that's why this one is super early and we have a lot to learn. Okay, are we moving up? I just paused it there because that's where I could get it. Do we want to move up from 38? Do we want to let it roll to 38?
So 38. Let me pull up the trade chart here. 38.
So the package I look at is like 38 and 77 gets you to 24. And the Vikings are the reason I say 24 specifically. The Vikings only have 5 picks.
Yep.
So they're gonna
and Houston
they might be looking
is right below them. Both of those teams need to add.
Does Houston not have? Yeah, Houston doesn't have a lot of picks either, but they have
So
3 in the top 100. Minnesota only has 2.
So who are you trading up for? That would be the obvious kind of question.
I would be trading up for tackle at this point, right? We still don't have a tackle. Travis Hunter. We now have, we now have Travis Hunter in the mix, so we checked the wide receiver box, but we don't have a tackle. And Kelvin Bankston at 12, so these guys are going to start going.
Is there one you like enough in the 24, 25 range worthy of trading up for?
I might take Ursary there. Yeah.
Really? That high?
They're going to go. They're going to go, and this team just needs tackles. I mean, I've said my piece on Josh Simmons. I don't think the Patriots can draft Josh Simmons in the first round. They need their first-round picks to play this year, and he's not going to. So, to me, Ursary's the next best tackle. If you think we get him at 38, we can just wait.
He might be there at 30. Because it's him, Connerly, and then those are really the 2 guys you're probably looking at in that range at the tackle spot.
I mean, we can definitely get one of them at 38, but I guess how do you feel about how do you feel about Connerly? I think there's a difference there.
Just the body types and the play styles. Do you think they'll probably lean towards Ursary more than Connerly?
Yes.
Just the bigger body and the play strength and that stuff. Can we roll it to the mid to those picks and see what happens?
Yeah. So Mike Green, Tyler, Josh Simmons went at 17. Membo went at 19. I don't think Membo's an answer for them. He's a true right tackle. He's not playing on the left side. But they're the next 2 left tackles. All right. And Connerly just went to the Rams at 26. And we know the Commanders need a tackle.
And the Chiefs
certainly know the Chiefs need a tackle. So this, if we're going to do it, we got to do it here.
All right. We can go up 28, 38.
Yeah. What does the trade chart say?
Let me see. 28 is 209. 38 is 157. We need a 52-point difference. So that would be... It would be, if you put 77 in, then we would need something back.
I'm not opposed to that. What if we just put 104 in?
That wouldn't be
enough.
What
would we get back? What would we get back from 77?
So it would be 38 and 77.
Yeah.
For 28, it wouldn't be much. It would be like where's Detroit on here? Do they have something in the 160s?
They have 132 and 195.
132. You could do like you could do like 132, and then we would throw in 145. That would be fair. Or 144.
Okay, I was thinking we throw in 219.
That would be low on the trade value chart.
That's low.
I mean, maybe
What if we
Detroit
include
just wants to
69 instead of 77?
38 and 69
Yeah.
and 69. And we would get 132. That would be fair. That's fair value.
38 and 60 and 69 for 28 and 132.
Yeah.
So the only thing I wonder if Detroit would do this because they need to add picks.
Yeah, they're
I
kind of
guess
low.
they're getting an extra top 100. That works. They're going to have a gap from 69 to 195, but they're getting an extra top 100. All right, we want to do that?
Yeah, if you want to go up for a tackle, that's probably the move you got to make.
All right. There we go. So it's Connerly went. So I'm okay taking Ursery here because I think he has franchise left tackle upside. He might be a little further away. He's maybe not a day one starter, but I think he's a year one starter.
All right.
And if you can get him here, if you can get that guy at 28, I think you did a good job.
All right. Send it in then.
All right. And then we're probably not. Well, we do have 132 and 144 if we want to package those, but that's not getting us up before 77. That's if we want to trade in the very back end. All right. So if you're just joining, we have Travis Hunter and Ariante Ursery. Those were our first two picks. I can speed this up. There we go. Okay.
Hunter, we're hoping to play mostly corner or receiver.
Mostly receiver, yeah. All right, so we've gotten a receiver. We've gotten a receiver. We've gotten a tackle. We need to address the defense. I think that's pretty clear at this point.
Our offensive line here, we're looking Ariante Ursery.
Yeah.
Left guard is some sort of combo of Layden Robinson, Cole Strange, Patrick McCarry. Center is David Andrews, Cole Strange. Right guard is locked in, Mike Onwenu.
Yeah.
And right tackle, maybe it's McCarry, maybe it's Caden Wallace.
Yeah, I think we're hoping it's Caden Wallace.
That's how we're kind of looking at the offensive line right now. All right.
Yeah. And everybody's saying like we could have gotten Ariante Ursery in the second. I still think we would have had to move up. Maybe we would have moved up in the second. He was the best tackle left on the board. You got to remember that.
Yep.
So as much as I said we should address the defense, look, we signed Josh Sweat, signed Carlton Davis, we signed Onzarike. Travis Hunter's probably going to play a little corner for us. Do we just draft Anthony Belton and get our right tackle and roll?
Let's see the board.
All right. So Travion Henderson's best player available. I don't know why I went to interior offensive line. We've got Deion Walker still here at 77. That'd be a heck of a pick. But I don't know if we want to go with the interior, if we want to go on the edge. Came on Rucker. Yeah, we kind of missed that top group. Savion Jones is still here. It's not great. Now, we did get Josh Sweat, so we don't need that top edge guy. At this point, I might wait a little bit for Ja Joyner. I like him. Might wait a little bit for some of these guys. We do need a coverage linebacker. So Jeffrey Bossa, Barrett Carter. Is Chris Paul still here? He is not. We probably just missed. Actually, no, I think he's been going earlier on BFF. Yeah, he went 60.
Yeah. Wow.
But Jeffrey Bossa, Barrett Carter, they both certainly fit that mold, that player. We did say Austin Hooper's coming back. If we want a tight end, Mason Taylor's still here. Elijah Arroyo's still here. I do think it's too early for a running back, the draft that we've had so far. There's another way, maybe if you can figure it. We want to double up at wide receiver, Isaiah Bond, Tez Johnson, Trey Harris, but we've already signed Darius Slayton. We've drafted Travis Hunter. I don't know that we want to add another receiver. Safety, Andrew Makuba. Get that true free safety. And then I think the only thing I didn't check is corner. So just to round it out. Maxwell Harrison's not bad. I think this would be a good spot for him.
I think he might be gone by that point. That might be a respect the board.
We're probably in that territory. And we do have Carlton Davis and Christian Gonzalez, and we brought John Jones back. So we are pretty complete. You add Marcus Jones to that group. You add Alex Austin to that group, and you're in pretty good shape. So I just ran through a bunch of names, Brian. Like, feel free to jump in. I like Andrew Makuba here. I know we kind of want an edge guy, but it doesn't make sense right now. And boy, that real free safety, we're going to get to play Kyle Duggar and Jabril Peppers, both at their natural positions. There's going to be more flow to the defense. We're going to do a better job on the back end. It's going to allow Christian Gonzalez to play super aggressive, make more plays on the ball. I would love Andrew Makuba here.
I do like him. He was a playmaker in those late playoff games for Texas. If anyone watched, like he stood out. He flies around. He's physical. Can I just see the D line group one more time? I think Makuba is the leader in the clubhouse here, but
let's see. Deion Walker, Jordan Phillips,
JJ.
Now we're getting. I like.
Peebles was had a really good Senior Bowl.
Yeah, I remember we're at 104. We have 104, 132, and 144. So I don't know that we'll have a shot at all of these guys. But between
will probably be there.
Right, Peebles, Riley Mills, Shamar Turner, we can get a defensive tackle. We didn't look at running backs. They have Ollie Gordon.
There's so many good running backs.
P185 is insane. We are going to end up respecting the board with Ollie Gordon and not taking him at some point. I'll tell you that right now. So I guess it's between the other idea was, do we just take Anthony Belton and that offensive line is set? And the thing is, Belton and Ursery can both play both sides.
Both sides. And Belton, he showed case he could play some guard at the Senior Bowl. I guess this is...
What would 132? We'd have a massive gap. No, they're not going to do that. What would 104 and 144 get us?
What was it? 104?
Yeah, and 144.
And 144.
How high up would that get us?
About 89.
Do we want to maybe make that trade, try to get Belton here, and then see if we can get Makuba in like 10 picks?
Belton here, move up and get Makuba.
Yep.
And then we give up 2.
And then we'd have 132, and then it would be the 200s. Or is that too much?
I might just stick with what I got.
Okay. So Belton or Makuba, that's the question.
Who's higher on your board? If you had a best player available, would it be Belton or Makuba?
I think Belton's better, but the fact that we already have Ursery, right?
Yeah.
Let's spread the love out. Let's work on some different positions.
All right, we can go Makuba. I like him.
Is 104 respecting the board for Belton? Let's decide before we know if he's there or not. I think 104 is his floor. I don't think it's unrealistic.
I think it would be.
All right, so let's see if he falls. We're going to take Andrew Makuba here, and we do need to address the defense in the top one.
Yeah.
That defense needs help. We can't leave Terrell Williams out on an island like that. And Belton went 2 picks later to the Commanders, which I can totally see him there.
All right.
So that one's off the board.
While we wrap up, what's this? Day 2 of the draft and get ready for day 3. And we get ready for our, what do we have? 6 picks on day 3. Oh boy. I'm going to tell you guys about Prize Picks. And I know football season is over, but the sports season roll on, and it does so on Prize Picks, where you just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. You can hit the ice with the 4-Nation Face-Off. USA playing tonight. Charlie McAvoy for the Bruins. Or All-Star Weekend is almost here, and Prize Picks is the best place on the hardwood to win cash while watching your favorite players during the game in the Saturday night events like the 3-point contest. On the basketball board, Celtics, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. You can go more than points, or Luka Doncic making his first Laker appearances. Go for his points or assists. And that is all, again, on Prize Picks. So download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. Again, all on Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, so back for day 3 of the draft. Looking at our board right now, we took Travis Hunter, 4th overall. He fell to 4.
Took him as a wide receiver. We got to
playing wide receiver, hopefully. Playing wide receiver. Then we moved up a few picks there. There was a couple tackles off the board, so we moved up to get Ariante Ursary, tackle out of Minnesota. Big body, big mauler at that left tackle spot. Maybe he could play right, but getting a tackle, checking that box, and then falling down to 77 there in the third round. Probably the best player on our board, Andrew Makuba, safety, free safety, flies around, could be a good compliment to Kyle Duggar and Jabril Peppers in that secondary. So that's what we got through 2 days of the draft. Again, we have 6 picks here on day 3, starting with 104 in the 4th round. Is that where they picked Javon Baker last year? Was that 104?
Oh, that sounds right. All right, so we're not taking a receiver.
Yeah.
And
I like RJ Harvey, but maybe not a UCF player.
I was about to say, and RJ Harvey's probably off the board with UCF. He was 110 last year.
I think
so. That would mean
trade 104. I feel like
104. No, 104 would be. Didn't they take? Oh no, they took Layden Robinson 103.
Oh, that was it. Okay.
Although I believe this, I think this is actually pick 105. So I didn't. Sometimes I go through and reset them. I just didn't have time today. I think PFF. I don't know what it's going to be. So PFF estimates this all comes down to the comp picks after the 3rd round. The PFF projection and the over the cap projection, which is usually right, don't entirely line up. So apologies if this isn't the exact pick, but you guys get the idea. We're in the same range.
The draft value chart has them at 105, so one off.
All of them. All right, yeah. But the first 3 rounds are the ones where it's the most important. If we're a pick off here, yeah, I think it's 105. 145, 220, 223, and 241. But they tweak it every couple days, so I don't know. All right, anyway. So we're on the board here. Started day 3. Jalen Noel is still here, but with Travis Hunter playing receiver, that's how are they both going to get on the field, right?
Yeah, I like Jalen Noel a lot, but you have, again, we signed Darius Slayton, so he's probably on the outside, and you have Travis Hunter inside, so I don't know how much sense that makes.
If we want to start thinking about that developmental tight end, maybe Austin Hooper's only back for a year. Terrence Ferguson here is a very interesting pick.
Good player.
To develop, right, to replace Hunter Henry. If we want to try doing what we were thinking about at 77, Brandon Crenshaw Dixon's another guy that has some positional flexibility. I want to see if I can find it here. Big dude. He has played, left tackle and right tackle. Now, I don't know that he has that upside that even Belton does. He might just end up being a swing tackle, but there is value in that. They do need backups. I know people like the Rutgers guy, Holland Pierce is kind of a similar player. We can get him maybe a little later. If we want to get that answer at left guard, we want a center. I like Jared Wilson, Seth McLaughlin, but we can probably wait on him. What else do we have? If we want another corner.
We haven't touched the D-line.
We have not touched the D-line. You're right. Denzel Burke here would be an interesting pick. I know you probably cringe at that, Brian, as a Big Ten guy, but at this point, I like the value.
Jordan Phillips was still up there. He is good.
Jordan Phillips is still there. Who went? Who was Peebles is here. Riley Mills is here. So some good defensive tackles. If we want a guy on the edge.
David Walker, he's interesting.
Yeah. I want more like, I like Elijah Roberts, but he's very similar to Keon White. I want like a stand-up, explosive edge guy.
I like the UCLA guy, but I feel like he's more consensus like a day 2, right?
Yeah, this might be a little respect to board issue with him. I like Jaw Joyner, and we can probably get him in a little bit. Linebacker, Barrett Carter's still here. I would love Barrett Carter here. And I know that's not the defensive line, but it helps the front. He can get after the quarterback. He can play in coverage. Smart player. He can play a little running back. I don't hate Barrett because I think the other 2 positions we're looking at are edge and D-line. We have 132. We have 144. I don't know that everybody's going to fall to those spots, but like some of those guys are. The drop-off after Barrett Carter, I don't know how big of a believer you are in Cody Simon, Brian. I know some people are higher on him than others. Mondon's another guy I know maybe some people are higher on, but I feel like after Carter, assuming Chris Paul and Bossa go, those guys are all going to go in a similar range. Like there's a drop-off after that. So if they're going to play the smaller, faster, more aggressive defense, you need that guy next to Juwan Bentley.
Yeah, I'm a Barrett Carter fan, especially with those more athletic linebackers. So I would be for that.
All right, so we're gonna grab Barrett Carter, and then let's see if we can finish up the front with these next 2 picks, and then we'll probably talk. This is still going slow, man. Try this. No, all
I
right.
know it's like once you change it on the simulator, like it doesn't change back
Right.
sometimes.
And then once we get 200s, we'll start talking running backs, tight ends. Maybe we get that third quarterback. Maybe we get a kicker. All right. So I'm just going to put edge and DL up. I don't even know that we're going to look at anything else because we have not addressed these positions to the extent we need to. Savion Jones still here. Good player. Riley Mills, if we want to go in the middle. Shmar Turner. I keep saying it. I like Jaw Joyner. He's super raw. He's very, very raw, but he has some great tools. Jamari Caldwell, if we just want that run-stopping defensive tackle, might be a little high for that guy, but he's a good player. Now we're down to the 200s guys, Cameron Jackson, Ty Robinson. It does look like, what's his name, from Virginia Tech, the guy you were in on, went.
Peebles or Pebbles?
Peebles went, yeah. Oh, we missed him by 2 picks. He went to the Bills. Anybody here stand out to you?
Shmar Turner's interesting. I like
Right.
Shmar Turner, just like the size and athleticism is intriguing. I know the whole A&M, they weren't very productive, which was weird because there were 3 of them up there and none of them were very productive. So I wouldn't mind taking a chance on his tools, or I mean, you really seem to like Jaw Joyner too. So I would be fine with kind of either of those guys on the defensive line up there.
There any other positions you want to look maybe while we're here? I guess we could probably look at guard. That might not be a bad idea and just get that, left guard answer. Or is no, the guy from Florida is not here. We can wait. If we want to get like Carson Vincent, we can wait. I mean, McLaughlin's interesting in this range. I don't know how you feel about this one. So for people who don't know, Seth McLaughlin is a center. He was a starter at Alabama, transferred to Ohio State last year, was having a good year, tore his Achilles. So he's probably going to be out for most of next season, but he would have been a top 100 pick if he was healthy. And before people yell at me for being a hypocrite for talking about Josh Simmons as a no, we're at pick 132. We're not at pick 4. We're not at pick 28. We're not at pick 38. So it's different. Seth McLaughlin comes in. He essentially gets a redshirt year. He learns under David Andrews, and he takes it over for David Andrews next year. That's my thought on it. This is probably as high as I would take him, but I would consider him in this range. I don't know if you feel differently, Brian, about that, or if there's other centers you like. There's other centers I would take too. I don't think you need Seth McLaughlin, but the Ohio State connection, he plays like a Josh McDaniels center. The value concept, he's an interesting name to know.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like him. I like the Georgia guards too. They're pretty low, but I think those guys are kind of undervalued. Maybe later.
Yeah, we
They're
got
really
Dylan
low on
Fairchild. We got some time for
Yeah.
him. So we have the Ravens calling at 135, Panthers calling at 140. I want to move down a little bit. The Bucks at 156. I wouldn't go that far.
I'm still intrigued with Turner. I think because
All
you're
right.
not getting. We obviously didn't go like Mason Graham, and we got Levy in free agency, but that could be like your developmental 3-tech interior guy who's got all the tools, but maybe is a little raw. Like you put him with Mike Vrabel, you put him with Terrell Williams, and see if they can get the best out of that physical skill set.
We should probably tap into this defensive line class. I'm with you on that.
All right.
So let's grab him, and then I think if Joyner gets to 144, getting him there, it's a little high, but there goes Pat Bryant to the Raiders, Taylor's guy.
Taylor's gonna be a crush.
Running back wise, we'll just see who else is here. Jarquez Hunter. Kyle Mononga is a tough one for me to pass on, honestly. Him being here in this spot, I wanted them to take Isaiah Pacheco so bad a couple years ago. Similar player.
Were you an ETN guy?
He's fine. I wouldn't be upset if they took him. I'm not like over the moon about him. He's fine.
He was more impressive to me watching him back than I remember, but I think he could be like a good change of pace guy to Ramondre because he's got some injury history. Like he's not going to carry the load and be your main back. Probably no one you're going to get in the 5th round is going to be your main back, but he was pretty impressive. Kyle Williams, there you go. There's your guy.
Kyle Williams, it's just with Travis Hunter and Darius Slayton, it's tough. Like, I'm thinking maybe if we add a receiver at the end, I would add a guy like Ricky White. Maybe if he falls to that 219 pick, because he can play special teams. He's going to do some other stuff for you. Tight ends, Jake Brittingstool is not a bad option. Do they do not have Robbie Oots. This is too early for Robbie Oots, but
Bryson Nesbitt at 219 looks like a lock, maybe.
yeah, maybe a 240. If you want to get it, so McLaughlin's still here. Miles Frazier had a good Senior Bowl at guard. If we want to go guard, we do want to add another corner. Denzel Burke still here at 144 is interesting, certainly to me. I'm probably not going to grab another safety, not going to grab another linebacker. The Cowboys are calling it 150. What would we get if we move down from 144 to 150, Brian? What would we get? And they have 170, 172, and 175. Could we get one of those?
Oh, geez. Yeah, I'll pull up the value, but like 144 and 144 and one of those 3 200s for like 150 and 175 or something. Let me pull up.
Does that work? I think that would be a good trade.
Let me see. Now it's not going to load. Load.
Well, PFF does not think it will be accepted.
It does not?
No. What about 188?
Here we go. So what was it? 140.
144. We'll give up 219. We can give up the highest one. That's fine. That's the Nick Folk pick. Unless you really want to take a kicker with the Nick Folk pick.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
For 150.
Yep. And 170. Let's see if we can get 175.
No, that would be a pretty big overpay.
Okay, what about 188?
You could do they have 188. Yeah, 188 would work. That would be pretty fair.
Let's see if they accept it. They did. All right, cool. So enjoy that pick, Jerry. He went with Jarquez Hunter, which is, that's about right. All right, so we're back on the board. We still have all our options, but now we have that extra pick. Do we want to maybe get one of these guards here? I'm fine seeing if Joyner falls again.
Yeah, we could get one of the linemen, interior guys.
Is there another position you feel?
Or, I mean, if you like Joyner this much, like I think we should probably just take him, especially now that we kind of closed the gap a little bit.
Okay.
Like if you're pound the table for him. Come on, pound the table.
I'm going to pound the table for him. It's a little bit of an overdraft. You're right. This is what we're supposed to do. I'm like losing the point of the experiment. It's a little bit of an overdraft, but given the success Terrell Williams, Mike Vrabel, Clint McMillan have had with developing edge rushers in the tools that he has, I think this is one that, as the Patriots, you feel confident making this pick because you are going to be able to maximize Joyner more than the average team. So I feel comfortable making this pick. We also got the extra pick with it. Some people in the chat are saying we should trade down maybe from 188. We'll see when we get there. But we're going to take Joyner here. So let's reset the board. We have made like none of our original picks. This is classic. Technically 77. Oh, no, we made 104. 77 we had from the Falcons and 104. We had from the Falcons. We had because of Judon, and we made 104. We've been dealing besides that. We have Travis Hunter at wide receiver. How glad are you? You don't have to keep tracking the Google Doc this year.
I know.
Travis Hunter at wide receiver.
The only thing we don't get, I should write down the trades we do probably.
Well, I'll see them on the.
That's true. We get to see him on the final.
Yeah. Travis Hunter, Ariante Ursary, Andrew Makuba, Barrett Carter, Shamar Stewart, Joyner. So
offense, defense.
Yep. We went offense at the top. Drake May got the first round, and we've been all defense since. It's a good way to put it, Brian. Do we want to keep doing that? Do we want to go back to offense here? At this point, I said if I liked Ricky White, this would be the spot where you would take Ricky White if we're going to draft him. We want to start having the running back conversation. We're respecting the board with Ollie Gordon, but Jaquavius Marks got a little bit of James White in his game with that pass catching. we want the bully, it's Rocket Sanders. We can wait on him. We can wait on Donovan Edwards. There's a bunch of players that are not in the simulator yet, too. So for the sake of this exercise, we'll assume they're off the board. Miles Frazier, if we want to guard, I just want to remind myself, big guy, has played both guard spots. So some versatility there. You mentioned Dylan Fairchild earlier from Georgia. If we want to add another corner, Mac McWilliams, we can probably wait on. Jabbar Muhammad, we can probably wait on. Do we want to add another defensive tackle? It's the guy from UTSA, Joe Evans, is here. So Joe Evans, like big run-stopping defensive tackle. Nazir Stackhouse, another one that like really doesn't have any pass rush upside, but they need to be better against the run too. Tight ends. At this point, we're probably just waiting for Bryson Nesbitt from this group. If we want to get that, somebody compete with Joe Milton for the backup quarterback.
Graham Mertz.
No, absolutely not. You're going to have to jump through the computer and fight me. Tyler Shuck probably makes the most sense here. The Canadian guy's not here. Seth Hennigan can make some sense if we wait. What are you thinking?
I like Dylan Fairchild along the offensive line. I'm definitely a Bryson Nesbitt fan. If you think we can get him a little bit later, though, I still think drafting a running back makes sense. So I guess I'm leaning a little bit more on the offensive side of the ball here after 4 straight defensive picks.
Do we want to move down again and try to get 2 more, an extra pick?
I don't think we need to move down again, but
okay. So I look at it. So you said running back, guard, and what was the other position?
Tight end. I think they should leave the draft with a running back and a tight end.
Okay. Well, then we got to get going on. And then if we want to guard, we're not going to get another tackle or we're not going to get a receiver. But, well, I guess we got Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
So they're like the guard group, Frazier, Fairchild. I don't know how you feel about Clay Webb coming away from the Senior Bowl, but there's some options there. Running back, I would say it's probably fewer options. I don't know if you feel strongly. I'd go Mark, Sanders, or Edwards. I don't know if you feel strongly about any of those guys. It's 3 very different players, so it depends on what kind of running back you want. If Marks is the guy, this is probably where we need to take him if you want that pass catcher.
Yeah, I like him. I like Edwards, too. He really impressed me over the Senior Bowl.
So we can probably wait there. Tight end, we know we could take Nesbitt here. We can basically wait on everybody.
I would be fine with Fairchild here.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Keep boosting that offensive line.
Yeah, I think like all those Georgia guys, I trust the Georgia offense. Like I think he could come in and seriously push for. You might not want him to start right away, but I think he could give you NFL snaps, especially if they're getting more of that downhill power. Like he's 6'5". He's a big guard, so like he's good at a power scheme. Yeah, 6'5",
315 experience on the left side. All right, Dylan Fairchild will send the card in.
So I'm good with that. Yeah.
Okay, and then like I know the dumb thing is I know you can get Edwards. Can you get Edwards at 240? I think I've been taking him at 220. All right, so we're gonna have to make a choice here. Who do we want more? Assuming they both get there. I don't want to jinx it. Mark's went. This was respecting the board for Mark's anyway. Do Sanders, Edwards, right, and then Nesbitt's still here.
There's a lot of tight ends ahead of Nesbitt, though.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. I like Gadsden, but not for them.
Yeah, Nesbitt's definitely my
injury
top.
Problems.
Out of these guys, Nesbitt's definitely my top tight end.
Do you like Nesbitt more than you like the running backs?
I might go back just because there's only 2 of them.
Okay. Who you want? Edwards?
I'd probably lean Edwards a little bit more. I don't have that strong of an opinion. If you like one more than the other, I'd be fine with whatever.
Are we trying to get somebody to supplement Ramondre Stevenson, or are we trying to get somebody as like Ramondre Stevenson insurance?
I'd say work with them more.
Okay, so then Edwards makes more sense. If we want like a potential replacement, it's Sanders. He's your bigger physical downhill runner. If we want somebody who's going to play with him, maybe help split with Antonio Gibson, then I've compared Donovan Edwards to Rex Burkhead, where if they're going to do that early down passing down back thing, Edwards is one of those guys that can do both, and there's value in that. So I like Edwards here. Let's go Edwards here. And then if Bryson Nesbitt makes it to 240, what's up?
We hope Nesbitt falls.
Right. We hope Nesbitt falls. If not, I might go Carson Vincent and just keep packing the offensive line. Doesn't matter.
He fell.
He fell. Bryson Nesbitt wraps it up.
UDFA. Yeah, Nesbitt.
Carson Vincent, UDFA. So, yeah, hang on. Since we're going to put all the free agents we signed, is there anybody else? We got to make sure they don't get drafted. We'll say Tyler Shuck. We'll say Bryson Nesbitt.
Drafted, right? Tyler Shaw.
Well, we'll see what happens when we run through. Do you like any of these receivers?
Did Efton Chisholm go? He must have went.
I don't think he's in the simulator. But for our
purposes, he is.
He went. Oh, then he went.
Damn.
Mac McWilliams.
Mac McWilliams, I like, yeah.
I'm going to write these down so you can include them in the tweet when we're done. Mac McWilliams. Yeah. I hope. Do you have the blue check?
Yeah.
All right, good. Colin Oliver is an interesting player. Oh. Better call Sauls.
Ben Sauls, baby. UDFA.
Or do we want to take him and see if Nesbitt falls?
No, I would rather take Nesbitt.
So we got an extra tackle, an extra corner, an extra kicker. We'll get a quarterback. Any other position you don't feel like we address enough that we should get? I got one more. Run stopping defensive tackle. Let's see if Joe Evans falls. I don't know how familiar you are with Joe Evans. Big dude. His draft stock's going to take a hit. One, he's just a run stopping nose tackle. You see 6'3", 335. He also missed part of the season with I think it was a broken leg, something like that. He's not going to be a pass rusher. Never will be. Big body to help stop the run, though. They need it. So we got like a 5-man UDFA class there. But we're going to take Bryson Nesbitt to round it out. And we will we'll take a look at this class. We got to see if any of these... All right. Are any of our UDFAs going to go? Mac McWilliams off the board. Tyler Shuck off the board. But we still have...
Ben Sauls made it, baby.
Ben Sauls made it. And Muhammad made it.
You got to add your Alabama fullback to the list, even though he's not in the simulator.
Yeah, we'll add Robbie Oots. Who do you like? Hennigan for the quarterback? Do you like the kid from the Canadian school?
The Canadian. Oh, we're not going to get the PFF glitch here where it doesn't give you your results, are you?
Is that a thing? Oh, that would be.
Sometimes. This would be tough.
I would have to pull it from the full thing. All right. Well, let's go. Well, we're waiting. I'll say Seth Hennigan. I'm gonna have to go back in and recreate it. That would. Oh, come on.
Boo, PFF, boo. This will be tough.
Right, well,
yeah. All right, we started with Travis Hunter. Oh, what happened?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm just clicking around, right? So because I'm going this. We started with Travis Hunter.
Going to try to convince him to play wide receiver mostly. That was.
Here it is. Okay.
Oh, here we go. Phew, thank God.
I got to drop it off because I mean, everybody saw him, but I can't have the people's brains being poisoned by the terrible grades.
You can show them now. I think they're going to yell at us no matter what. Whether
that's true. That is very true.
All right. So started with Travis Hunter. Again, picking 4th overall, best player available. The goal is hopefully he's going to primarily play wide receiver behind that pick. Some cornerback, obviously, but if we're picking 4, we prefer him. I know he's going to be an awesome corner, but we want him to play mostly wide receiver there. There were some tackles who went in the first round, so we wanted to move up and make sure we get Ariante Ursary. It was a pick swap with Detroit Lions in order to do that. So we get Ursary. Then at 77, best player on our board, Andrew Makuba, get that free safety body type in there. Then more defense, Barrett Carter, linebacker, one of the more athletic linebackers. Shamar Turner, interior defensive lineman. And Joyner, put those two guys with Mike Vrabel, put them with Terrell Williams, and see if they can kind of mold those two guys into the players they want. And then we ended with, back on the offensive side of the ball, Dylan Fairchild, Georgia left guard, could step in and give you some good football immediately. Donovan Edwards, good compliment in the backfield. Jermondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson. And then wrap it up with Drake May's buddy, Bryson Nesbitt. Bring some juice into that tight end room as well. And some, yet another rookie in there in Bryson Nesbitt. So that is the haul. 5 offensive players and 4 defensive players, I think, is what it ended at.
Correct.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's kind of a perfect 4, 4, and 1.
Yeah, there you go.
So we really split that odd number of picks, and we still managed to split it down the middle. How would you feel if this was their draft?
I would feel good about that. It's tough to say no to Travis Hunter, and then you hit the trenches, 2 offensive linemen, 2 defensive linemen. You get some athletes there, and Barrett Carter and Andrew Makuba, and then some kind of intriguing developmental offensive guys to kind of wrap that up. So with the free agency class that we are hypothetically pairing this with, I think that would be a pretty good offseason. How about you?
Yeah, again, with that free agency class, assuming Travis Hunter's on board with working primarily as a receiver, you got a guy that can be a coverage dictating wide receiver. You got a guy that maybe it won't be on day one, but has that, plug and play, set it and forget it, left starter upside. They finally get the Devin McCourty replacement and Andrew Makuba. I would say this is a more high risk, high reward draft. I don't necessarily hate that. I think there's safer picks we could have made. I think we took some chances. I don't know that I would take as many chances as we took. Like, if I'm them, I don't know that I would. It's like we took a lot of shots, but if this pans out, we got Hunter has the upside of a plus starter. Ursary has the upside of a plus starter and more. But like baseline, I would even go as far as Carter, and with Nesbitt having some injuries, like I think we got 4 guys really with plus starter upside, and then Nesbitt's kind of an interesting case. So, it's going to be a little harder to get that upside out of Ursary than maybe a guy like a Will Campbell. It's going to be a little harder to get that upside out of, Shamar Turner versus a guy like Mason Graham, Joyner versus Abdul Carter, who we didn't have a chance to take. But, that sort of thing. Donovan Edwards versus some of those other backs. We're betting on the coaching staff, but they have an impressive coaching staff. And if you get these guys coached up, there's a lot of untapped potential on this board.
Definitely. So that is 1.0. I just pulled up our 1.0 from last year.
Yeah, all right. Give it for context. Because remember, this is... Well, let me just say, it's really early, and there's a lot we don't know. When we do this again, it will be the Thursday after free agency week. We'll have a lot more answers. It'll be a lot easier. But remind us how nuts the first one is.
A lot will change, and probably we won't have to assume as much because we'll hear from Travis Hunter. We'll have an exact measurement on Will Campbell's arms. But last year, this is how we went. We went Jaden Daniels was 3rd. And then we traded down and we got Kingsley Suamatia as our tackle in the 2nd round.
Wait, who was first? Oh, it's Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels, then Kingsley Suamatia after a trade down. Our wide receiver at pick 68 was Brendan Rice, who ended up going in the 7th round of the actual NFL draft.
Yeah, that was a Senior Bowl high right there.
Definitely. And then we paired him with his teammate Marshawn Lloyd. And then we went edge, Muhammad Kamara, who we both liked. Another tackle.
Still do, for the record.
Javon Foster in the 4th round. 5th round, tight end, Dallin Holker. Then linebacker, Jalen Ford. And then 6th round, center, Kingsley Ugwankin from Florida. And then 2 7th rounders, Jason Bean, quarterback from Kansas, and Keaton Oladapo.
Jason Bean.
So... a lot changed, you can see, from February of last year to the draft last year, and we're expecting the same thing will probably happen with this draft. But fun exercise, fun to always do mock drafts, throw some names out there, throw some scenarios out there. And I think that was a pretty good haul, I'd say, for mock draft 1.0.
I would say so. It'll be interesting to see how much it changes before the next one. There'll be more players put in a simulator too, which will help. And we'll see. But we're off and running on the offseason.
Oh, we traded Mac Jones in our 1.0 last year.
Oh, that's right. Didn't we trade him for like a 5th round pick?
We got 174 and a future 6th. So what was the Joe Milton pick? 180, 190?
No, it was it was right around because he was almost 199. I remember that.
So we overvalued Mac by a future draft pick, just by a little much. So, all right, that's mock draft 1.0. We'll get that up on Twitter, so you guys can yell at us over there as well as in the chat, as you just did for the last hour. But we'll get that up. And again, we'll do our second one. We'll let the combine, we'll let the initial free agency wave go by, and we'll get 2.0 up probably in a month or so.
Yeah.
But that will wrap up 1.0. We will be back next week, probably talking a little combine preview and probably hand it over to you guys for a little Q&A and any other Patriots news that comes in the meantime. So make sure you subscribe to Patriots Press Pass and wherever else you get your podcast. Turn on your notifications on YouTube so you know when we go live. You can also follow Barth on Twitter at RealAlexBarth. Head over to 985thesportshub.com for his Patriots coverage there. And you can follow me on Twitter at I am Brian Hines, and head over to patspulpit.com for our Patriots coverage there as well. Thanks everyone for tuning in with us tonight. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you guys next week.